Adapurvak Pranam. Welcome again for this Japa talk. Let's start with a small prayer. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Nanati Swapadantikam Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gauravakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So going to today's topic. So I have been talking about how to improve our japa regarding various techniques. मैं बात कर रहा था कि कैसे हम बहुत सारा टेक्निक्स लेके हमारा जप को इम्प्रूव कर सकते हैं. तो इसी बारे में फर्दर कंटिन्यू करता हूँ कि जब भी हम जप करते हैं तो कहीं तरह का मेंटल ब्लॉक्स हमें होता है, तो इसे ओवरकम करना बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट होता है. एंड वी शुड अंडरस्टैंड दैट हमारा जब एक मुख्य कार्य है हमारा आध्यात्मिक जीवन में. अगर हमारा जब अच्छी नहीं है तो देन our spiritual life is also not good and we cannot become a good preacher also. Most of the time we chant with non-attentive. Our chanting will be non-attentive, and as I said, it will have a great influence on our spiritual life. When we chant, we mostly have a habit of actually chanting in an absent mind. We are not able to concentrate our mind on the names of the God, on the names of the God. That attachment may not be there sometimes when we are chanting. We should understand that हमें ये पता होना है कि एक अच्छी जप है जो हमें एक अच्छा जीवन दे सकता है. इसका पूर्ण विश्वास हमें करना है. But even though we know that we hear this, but still sometimes we are caught up with our so-called mechanical chanting. जो भी chanting करते हैं हम ये mechanical chanting में ट्रैप हो जाते हैं, ये सभी जानने के बाद भी. So क्यों ऐसा हो रहा है, क्या हो रहा है actually? What is the trap that we are actually getting into it? Sometimes like when we read these, जब भी हम शास्त्र भी पढ़ते हैं और देखते हैं शास्त्र से, we actually compare ourselves. There are some things which we see and then we understand uh, or we realize to ourselves that ये जो भी शास्त्र में बताया गया है ये मेरा रीच में है, और ये जो भी बताया गया है मेरा रीच में नहीं है. So we take it to such conclusions, and then we actually reduce our standards to a much lower level. So what happens is this actually becomes a trap for us, and that's how we actually compromise on our japa. We always think that whatever I am chanting this is what is the best for me to do, and then continue to do that japa. Let me continue with whatever is going on. I am able to do it. Okay, let me not work on it. Somehow or other, I am trying to finish my japa. So this is the mentality that we get into. But we should understand with this kind of mentality, we may not be able to completely satisfy the soul. Only by a proper attentive japa can we actually really satisfy our soul. So there is, Prabhupada says that there is always a scope for improvement in our japa, and we should always be seeing that what is our scope for improvement in our japa, and we need really enthusiasm to work on how to improve our japa. है जानते हैं कि हमारा जीवन में जो भी हम करते हैं हम ऑलवेज उसे एक हाई स्टैंडर्ड में होना चाहिए, ये एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं. ऐसा ही जपा भी एक कार्य है जो हमें प्रतिनित्य वर्क करना है एक हाई स्टैंडर्ड होने के लिए, उसे हाई स्टैंडर्ड में लाने के लिए, क्योंकि यही है एक मूल्य कार्य है जिससे हमारा आध्यात्मिक जीवन अच्छी हो सकती है. तो what should we do to raise the standard of our chanting? So we should always see what are the actually bad qualities that I am actually being developing when I am chanting. It's very for a person to improve. It is just as it is improve as it is important to know the strength. What is his strength? It is also important for him to know what is his weakness. तो सिमिलरली हम जब भी जब करते हैं तो इस जब में हमें जानना चाहिए कि क्या है जो बैड क्वालिटीज में जो मैं कर रहा हूँ जिससे मेरा मन भगवान का नाम में नाम सुनने सुनने में इट इज नॉट एबल टू हियर द नेम्स ऑफ द लॉर्ड. So some of them which I have listed out are generally we do during the chantings are most of the time when we chant the names of the Lord, we ourselves go into a deep sleep without knowing when we are chanting. This is one of the bad qualities that one may develop. And the other thing is that most of the time, like devotees today are involved in so many activities and services. We do multitasking during our chanting. And then most of the time, like whenever the we are chanting, it's the time that mind is free, and then we start planning for things ahead. Maybe even just Janmashtami has gone. Maybe even Janmashtami services or other services, we will start to plan during that part of the time. So these are some of the bad qualities that I have just listed out. So we should know that my aim during the chanting is just to focus on the names of the Lord. And by chanting on the names, or by chanting or focusing on the names of the Lord, and depending upon the mercy of the uh, Lord, my purification happens, and that's how my chanting also improves. So we should know that, and for that, were some of the techniques that we discussed that the techniques we discussed were that our postures should be upright and we should uh, uh, have a proper we should have always a proper attentive chanting, and then we should be mm, okay. So this last time what we discussed postures about attentive these things, then hearing the mantra properly, hearing the pronunciation properly, the 16 syllable mantra properly. So this things we should always try to remember at least rather than the bad things that I listed out. So when we remember these things when we are chanting, so again we can get back our mind into chanting. So by this way, working on our bad qualities, we can every day try to improve our chanting. And by every day improving our chanting, we can get it to a next level standard. We should always work on that standard, know where we are, and always try to improve so that we can bring it to the next level of chanting. And we should know that only by chanting the names of the Lord properly, we can actually progress in our spiritual life. Uh, so I'll stop here in the interest of time. Thank you for your patient listening. Hare Krishna.